I'm going to introduce you to a revolutionary way to construct your new custom home. It's called the owner builder process, exclusively by HomeWrights Custom Homes. So here's how it works. When you act as your own general contractor, you save a ton of money. You get to build what you want, the way you want, at the budget you decide. You cut out the middleman. You save that money to lower your monthly payments, add some more upgrades to that beautiful home, or just put the money in your pocket. When you act as your own general contractor, you call all the shots, you make all the decisions, and that home is yours.
I'm more than happy to answer anybody's questions. If anybody wants to come out and take a tour, I'm open to all that because we're so proud of what we've been able to do. And HomeWrights has been such a huge part of it. It never would have happened without HomeWrights. I can honestly say that. That's not just a marketing thing. I wouldn't be standing here if it wasn't for HomeWrights. My name's Mark Gorman. My wife Christy and I are building our retirement home, working with the people at HomeWrights, and we're really excited, hoping to be in by March.
And you're using the owner builder approach?
We are using the owner builder approach. We're acting as our own general contractor, and so the program has worked really well.
And so are you a professional contractor by trade?
I am not. I'm a retired UPS driver. Worked at UPS for 36 years, and I've had some experience doing handyman work. Certainly nothing about like building a house. You know, I can build a little table, that type of thing, but no, I had no previous experience in construction whatsoever.
And so how did you hear about HomeWrights, and what made you think this was a good idea?
You know, actually the first exposure I had to HomeWrights was I came across a video on YouTube. And interestingly enough, it was this Brian Fujimoto, one of my project managers now. And it just seemed to fit what we wanted. We had a lot of ideas of what we wanted, how we wanted it built. I should say I didn't have any construction experience. Both my wife and I have a big passion for architecture.
Sure.
And so we knew kind of what styles we wanted, materials, colors, that kind of thing. And so going off of that and looking what the HomeWrights program was about, it just seemed like it was going to be a perfect fit. And as it has turned out, it has been a perfect fit.
So as an owner builder, one of the benefits is control, and you get to really maintain your eye on that quality. But what else?
Well, as an owner builder, I mean, another big issue is obviously budget, that type of thing. I think with working with these guys, we've come to realize the savings in money, that you can save a lot of money if you're willing to get your hands dirty and get in here and do a little work and be out here on site and not just be sitting at home and making phone calls. And so I actually live out here on site during the week, and I communicate with all of our builders every day. I check in with them every morning, and our contractors, and make sure everybody's on the same page and what do you need, and if they need something from me. And so that whole little process, it's been fabulous. It's been a learning experience for me. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Made a lot of I would say friends from some of our contractors. They're not, when they first came here, they're just a guy working on our house, but as we go through the process and as we talk, and we've actually become pretty good friends and stuff. And so the whole process has just been a really positive experience for all of us.
And so we're not in Austin, Texas, or Albuquerque or Santa Fe. We're out in the middle of the country near Colorado Springs building a custom home.
We are. We're about 15 miles northeast of Colorado Springs. Our home base, I guess you could say, is a little town called Peyton, which isn't much of a town, but it's a nice little community. We're in a development that everybody has 5 acres of land, and so it was just perfect for what we wanted. We love all the trees, which is really just Colorado. We love the terrain, all just the natural. We have deer, we have wild turkeys. We do have predators also that we found out and stuff. So it's just a beautiful area. It's just checked all the boxes of what we wanted to find.
So it's an absolutely stunning, beautiful building site. It looks like a gorgeous home as we take a look around. On a home like this, if I can ask, what can somebody save doing the owner builder process compared to a traditional construction program?
That's a good question, and there's a lot of variables in that you find out when you get into this. Obviously, you have a lot of choices you can make as far as materials. that type of thing, whether how you want to affect your budget. But I think a realistic figure that we're looking at is that by doing it ourselves, I think it's fair to say we're going to save in excess of $200,000.
And you're doing that because you're cutting out the middleman, that extra markup, change fees, etc. Right?
Correct. I mean, we're making pretty much 100% of the decisions. We're dealing with the subcontractors one-on-one. There's no middleman in between us, so we're not dealing with the general contractors, then dealing with the contractors and architect. That's us. And so, like I said, we get the subs from HomeWrights, which is really nice. We know that the subs have been vetted. They know they're good people, so we then deal with them directly. We get the bids, we get the contracts ourselves and everything, and then we set the schedule, which they help me do. That's a huge deal, which I was probably one of my biggest worries coming in this was scheduling everything.
Sure.
And they help me build out my whole schedule so that I can see, okay, next week, this is what I need to do. Maybe 2 weeks down the road, even as far out as a couple months, I can see and start to plan where we want to be and where we need to be and what do we need to do to get there. And again, I think it's fair to say that we'll save in excess of $200,000 on this project.
And so to save that kind of money, you're obviously putting in some time. What do you estimate an average amount of time would be you're putting on a weekly basis?
Well, again, my situation is ideal for this because I am retired. I was fortunate enough to be able to retire. My wife still works. So in our situation, we have our camper out here. I live out here every day. So I'm literally here from morning until sunset. I go home on the weekends for the most part. So I'm investing a lot more time maybe than the normal person would, but that's our choice. And we were fortunate enough to be in a situation where we could do that. But I also think realistically, the more time you can spend on site, you're going to save time from the standpoint of if a subcontractor has a question, this isn't quite fitting together like we think. Well, if nobody's here, it kind of slows down their progress because they're going to have to call you and ask you questions, whereas I'm here, so we talk, we figure it out right now, and they don't lose any time and we don't lose any time, and so it just keeps the process going. So again, our situation is a little different than most, but it's as long as you're flexible and as long as you're open to being out here some, it can be a really big time saver and obviously a money saver because delays cost money. But yeah, I mean, if we can take a year, say it takes us a year from start to finish, $200,000, that's a pretty good,
it is.
If you look at it from a salary standpoint, that's a pretty good investment.
So you can take that money and reduce your mortgage payment or do some extra frills on the house if you like, or put it in your pocket, right?
And we've done some of all of that.
Yeah.
We have been able to save the cost of the project, but we can look at this and say, I really like the way this looks, so we may change, maybe upgrade. There's certain things where maybe we can pull back from if we want to. And so it gives you there's a lot of flexibility for sure.
What do you think the skills are that somebody has to have going into this if they have no construction experience?
Patience, dedication. I think, obviously the budget and the scheduling are huge in any kind of project, whether it's building a house or whether you're, putting a fence up in your backyard or whatever, because you want to stick to your budget as best you can. And so you really have to be alert and pay attention to the details. And I always told my kids that in every aspect of their life, just pay attention to the details of your life. In this situation, you just need to really pay attention to the details of your project. You have to stay on top of it. I think it's fair to say that you need to do some kind of review every day of where you are, where you want to be, what's going on the project. And so it's not rocket science. You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to have any kind of degree. You just have to have a desire, which is huge. And you just have to be willing to put in a little bit of time. And that's totally up to the individual as to how much time you want to put in. I mean, I would say you could get away with spending an hour or two a day, just focusing on paperwork, details, checking with subs, that kind of thing. I think it's fair to say the more time you spend, probably the quicker the process is going to go.
Sure. So what would you say has been the single biggest challenge for you getting this thing done?
Single biggest challenge is probably with the current situation has been some supply chain issues as far as supplies, materials. That's probably been the biggest holdback. I don't say holdback's the right word, but you know, as far as all of our subs, we're ordering lumber. Obviously, we're using a lot of lumber.
Sure.
Sometimes you get a call from your lumber supplier and saying, you know, that stuff's not going to be here for 3 weeks. And you take, that's where your patience comes in.
Yeah.
Because you want it to keep going, but at some point, okay, my lumber's not going to be here for 3 weeks. What can I do in those 3 weeks to somewhere else on the project to keep moving forward?
So what's been your greatest joy in doing this process?
This. Right here. I get emotional, sorry. But this has been such a dream of ours for so long. And it's just this. So that's the biggest joy.
Yeah. What a beautiful thing to have a ton of pride in for the rest of your life. Huh? This is your lifetime home. This is your forever home.
This is our forever home. Once we get done, we'll sell our current home. And sorry, I get emotional, but it's just, this is where we want to be.
Well, you couldn't have picked a nicer spot. So summarize for me, what would you say about the HomeWrights team and the HomeWrights owner-builder process?
You know, the HomeWrights team has been fabulous. It's 10 times, 1,000 times better than I ever could have hoped. My two guys, Dale and Brian, I can call them anytime of day. They will pick up the phone. They're excellent about answering questions. They're both out here. One of the two is out here probably at least once a week, most times more. I couldn't have asked for better advisors, if you will.
Yeah.
No matter what my question is, no matter how stupid it may sound, no matter what, they have an answer. If they don't have an answer, they get it for me. And we talk through any kind of issues, and they can come out. And I've asked them to come out many times and said, okay, walk through and tell me what you see that I need to do. Where am I messing up? And they've been absolutely fabulous. Everybody at that whole organization has just been nothing short of phenomenal. And it's, you can say, is it worth the money? But right now, the money is nothing. I mean, they've helped us build this house, and I couldn't have asked for better helpers.